Welcome back, adventurers. My name is Eli, the Game Master, and this is A Good Day to Die. Last we left off, the group had continued their journey into the catacombs beneath Drimport. There they had encountered a trap that had exhausted them. A group of pirates had taken them captive and into their hideout. There they were locked away into a brig. After trying to get some well-deserved sleep, the group started to have visions. It all started with the paladin, Damon. Damon had these visions of Arady and how the caterpillar had went from just a small bug-like wormy thing into a chrysalis. That same kind of vision carried over to Manzarek, who started to have visions of his past with his master Darum, the rat folk which he is searching for beneath Drimport. And then Dr. Tone began to have visions. Visions of a kind of hellscape wherein he was in a lab surrounded by atrocities, different types of alchemical mechanisms and Tesla coils and all kinds of crazy stuff. His apprentice has something very important that he had mentioned, and she needs to leave. But before she could make her escape, the door opened and a handsome stranger who he is unfamiliar with, but the group had seen before, stepped through the door with 3 hooded figures with scythes. And we will pick it up there. Queuing up some Sirenscape. Da-da-da-da-da. We have already rolled for initiative, and if you can't see yet, we may not have him on camera. Damon, our buddy Amos, is not here yet. He is on his way. So we're going to go ahead and get started because this isn't his dream sequence, and if he wants to know what's going on, he has to watch the channel.
A quick thing, because I was quickly looking through my character, I would have given her 2 vials, one of gaseous escape to move away, and then another one of expeditious flight, which is like our cloud form that allowed us to travel super fast.
I got you.
She gets 5 speed, but can travel further for longer, and basically it's a traveling 5 speed.
You gave her fast gas.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Just so that way she has the best chance to escape, if when that time comes.
I hear you. The handsome stranger, with a snap of his fingers, commanded the 3 hooded figures to kill Dr. Tone and his apprentice. The first figure is going to run up, and he is going to swing at the apprentice. Running up with his scythe out, you see him swing towards her. She holds out her hand, and she catches the shaft of the scythe just as the blade swings near her face. Pulling back, it cuts across her arm, as this kind of dark, stagnant blood spatters across the ground. The other one is going to look up some of his crazy weapons that he's got going on here, and he is going to begin casting a spell. That is not the correct person. Okay, there. And I will need a reflex from Dr. Tone.
Oh.
Also, we do have the battle map on stream now.
Yes! So Dr. Tone is standing next to the table with the skeleton on it. His apprentice is standing next to the table with the 3 alchemical potions. And she is in base combat with the hooded figure with the scythe, and the other 2 are standing in the doorway. The first one holding his position, Chant and Tone.
29?
With a 29.
Barely saves.
Delicious. You take 5 points of fire damage.
Right up.
Do you take 10 points of negative energy? 10 points of negative energy?
Yes.
You do take that.
I do.
So a cylinder of fire appears around you and raises up to the roof. You see it burn across the stone ceiling, charring the stone around you. As the heat from the flame doesn't bother you, but that negative energy that is produced by it certainly does. He is going to take a free 5-foot step over towards the table with all of your equipment sitting there on. And the other one's going to try to think of something a little cooler than that to do to you.
There's nothing cool.
What's cooler than being cool?
What is that? Fire call?
It does work, Eli.
I used to know the name of the spell. It was like one of the best offensive player spells.
He chants, putting his hand on the blade of his scythe, rolling it down the edge. You see the scythe turn black, and this kind of necromantic miasma begins to roll off of it as he is going to 5, 10, 15, 20 run towards you, but not without provoking an attack of opportunity from your monk friend.
As well as me.
Do you have a 10-foot reach?
I do.
Oh, as well.
I have my chain whip.
As well as you for sweet.
That is a 29.
29, you say?
Yes, sir.
A 29 will strike your opponent.
Rules question.
Yes.
Is he considered flanked between me and her when I attack?
No. Oh, if he's moving... No, because he doesn't provoke until he moves from here to here.
Okay.
Moving here doesn't provoke. Moving here provokes, and that moves him out of her melee range.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just good to know. Because it matters.
I got you.
He will take, however, 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh my gosh. That's so much bludgeoning damage.
As well as I would have had that ready as well, 4 acid damage.
Okay.
And he, I have an effect where my fists are kind of like almost bleeding acid.
Okay. So I imagine as you unfurl your chain whip that from your hand this green viscous liquid begins to roll down the length of your weapon. As he runs past her, she spins in place and she lands a punch between his shoulder blades, sending him stumbling forward as this jolt of electricity rolls down her arm and into him. You see him try to catch his breath as he stumbles towards you. When he does so, you just crack the whip, hitting up from his torso and across his face. He kind of stumbles back from that with this look of stunned fear is almost the word. But when he squares up to you in melee, he rolls his scythe and he swings it towards you. And he really needs to succeed this.
By the way, he takes continual acid damage.
Cool. So as you pop the whip across him, you hit him from torso to head. He holds up his scythe and your chain whip wraps around the shaft of his scythe. He goes to pull back to hit you, but as he goes to fall through with the attack, you jerk back, pulling the scythe from his hand and sending it sliding across the floor.
Almost snapping it back and cracking it again. I was like, looking at the mysterious man, you need to find better help.
He grins, right? And he says, "Why are these not your best work?"
Nah, I've done better.
There's still one more. There's still one more.
Is there?
Oh, yeah. No. All right.
Let's just say flame call, attacks me, attacks her. Okay.
Doc.
I'm going to provoke from him.
From her?
From him. Fly to there.
Goodness gracious. Do you not provoke from the other one?
Sure.
Okay.
Come at me, bro.
Well, he's not going to hit you. Because he doesn't have a scythe. But this other guy will. He's all kinds of scythe.
Bring it.
He's scythed up.
I knew it was coming.
Oh boy. Does a 34 hit you?
Yeah.
Cool. That will provoke an attack, or I'm sorry. That is crit threat.
Oh, that's scythe?
Yes. Does a 26 hit you?
Barely.
Barely is good enough.
I'm sorry. 50-50 chance.
You got some kind of nonsense where they have to
Displacement.
get over yourself.
No.
16?
No. So would have hit, but just goes through my form.
That would have been an awesome 4 times crit.
It's only a D4.
But he still hits you, yeah?
Plus whatever the matter.
He just doesn't crit.
No.
No, you were completely displaced.
Yeah, I have the spell displacement, so he completely misses the attack.
Sucks. So he whirls the scythe around. He swings, and your apprentice sees the scythe blade hit across your neck and completely sever your head from your shoulders as it cuts through cleanly. He looks up kind of victorious as you step behind the image and swing around behind him. His eyes get wide as he turns to see you standing there.
Oh, let me show you why I'm still in charge. Suddenly, my arms and legs will go feral like a wolf, almost. My muzzle will elongate as I activate my feral mutagen.
This is all new to me, everyone. I have no idea what's happening.
Oh boy. I now get 3 attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm only going to get 1 because I moved and did all that.
Right, but he is flanked.
Only a 17.
17 will not strike your opponent.
I rolled a 2.
So, with the whip, I assume?
No, claws.
Claws.
I drop the whip and I just claw out.
So, when you say that, you swing out at him. He takes the scythe and he kind of spins it in place, knocking your claws back. You see this kind of like triumphant look come over his face, right? The handsome stranger says, "Is that why you're in charge?" When suddenly you see the hooded figure's feet get swept out from under him, he goes completely horizontal in the air as the girl comes down with a hammer fist, slamming into his chest and driving him straight into the ground, knocking him off of his feet, and with her improved trip ability, provokes an attack of opportunity. Lightning shoots out in all different directions as she just nails him straight into the stone floor.
I'll just say, no, that is.
His turn, he's going to weep. This guy's going to 5-foot step, grab his scythe.
The handsome stranger doesn't do?
No, he doesn't take it. He's just watching.
Okay.
He is going to pick up his scythe. He's going to reconsider his actions. Mother. And that's all he's going to do for now. The one who had cast Flame Strike on you,
That's what it's called.
runs past the handsome stranger, gets within 10 feet of you, gets within 15 feet of you,
I did drop my chain whip, if that makes you feel any better.
gets within 10 feet of you, and I need a fortitude save.
Is this the poison?
No.
Quickly looking at defeat step up. Okay.
That's only.
Yeah, he'd have to move for you to...
I didn't know if it said specifically away from you or just as an immediate action you can make a 5-foot step. Fort, you say?
Fort, I say.
22.
22? Yes. So you are not stunned. He pulls down the shroud covering his face, revealing his lips had long since receded back, almost decayed away from his yellowed teeth. When he does so, he gives this horrid shriek that blurs the air. It washes over you, dealing 1 point of damage. So there.
You have halitosis. The one that picked up his scythe that took the acid damage, he takes 1 point of acid damage. And that will go on for the next 5 rounds.
Sure. The one between both of you is not in a place to be casting spells, so he is just going to Scythe Scythe McScythe Scythe.
From the ground?
He is going to stand up, provoking an attack of opportunity from both of you. You miss.
Are you sure?
And then that one says yes.
Oh, with the flank?
The nat 1, you say?
Yeah, so total of an 18.
Alright.
So no.
So you go to claw down at him the same time she goes to punch. He takes his scythe hitting with the shaft the side of your hand, moving it to the side, and you two just kind of clash hands in this like spark of electricity that hits out from both of you as he stands to his feet. And he is going to 2 swings at you.
Bring it. 50-50 chance.
I'm keeping that number.
Okay.
Just for funsies. 60! Does a 29 hit you?
29 will.
Yes.
Delicious. Delicious hitter.
I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Dealing 15 points of damage.
Wait.
59.
Well, potentially.
Will potentially hit. 28.
Yes. Are you rolling high on that dice, or you just...
You're just having fun.
Dealing 16 points of damage.
Owie.
As he hits you across the head with the end of the shaft, and he comes down, laying the blade of the scythe across your shoulder and dragging it across your back, cutting you open as he pulls the blade back to it. Daka, you're up.
So, at the start of my turn... Oh, that automatically does it my first. These wounds just start healing as like almost infernal fire just shoots through them and the wounds close naturally.
Yes.
I have fast healing 5.
Of course you do. Why wouldn't you?
It's also your doing, though.
I mean, I guess.
Look what you made him do.
I just pulled out 3 Cenobites, and I'm like, this'll be fun.
They're dying.
You know what?
They're already dead.
That guy needs a friend.
Who? What? Huh?
I pull out this vial of this clear liquid, and I say just that. I was like, you need a friend. I throw it behind him, and an ectoplasm creature in the ooze and ectoplasm just burst out and starts attacking.
Does that provoke?
Sure, if it does.
Look it up while I describe this. You pull out a vial. You say, that gentleman needs a friend. You shake it, and everybody hears this kind of as you throw it. It hits the ground bursting. The handsome stranger looks down as the ground begins to...
It's a large ooze.
He switched a medium token for a large token. Why? Hits the ground, and from this, it begins to bubble and boil, and it spreads across the ground as this creature stands up with this ectoplasm just dripping off of him as he rises up. That handsome stranger is going to take a free 5-foot step away from that.
That was a swift.
That was an immediate.
Well, all right then. He's ready to action.
He's been holding his turn to move away from something. Okay? And I'm sure you still have a 10-foot reach, but... Does it provoke?
It counts as me casting an extract, so yes, it would. 50-50?
Hang on. Does a 23 hit you?
Ties.
83.
Okay.
Here comes the pain train.
Oh, Lord.
Hoo-hoo.
Dealing 13 points of damage.
Owie.
As you go to throw the vial, and he just catches you in the side and then pulls the scythe away, leaving blood spattering across the ground.
Kind of cracked my neck. It was like, let's just have fun now.
Real confident for somebody who's getting the crap scythe out of him.
26?
Uh-huh. Wait. Uh-huh. That's so many dice.
You're welcome. He goes, Lenny, can I borrow 10d6? Because I know that you have it.
Or no raisin.
It's like, just 10? Sure.
That's just what that says.
That's where that lives. This is where the fishes live.
Alright. 16, 30, 6, 40. He'll take 46 points of damage.
Okay?
Unless he's immune to precision.
As well as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Is this slashing?
Technically, yes.
He takes 5 points less.
As well as he has 10 bleed.
I'm sorry, altogether he dealt how much?
I dealt 46 points of damage. 10 bleed.
Okay.
And takes 2 points of strength damage.
Raisins.
You said, hey, Brenda, make a torturing alchemist, and I said, bet.
I don't think I said those exact words.
Attack number 2.
I heard that.
I'm sorry, this is only a 19.
19 will not strike your opponent.
Okay, for the bite. Less.
You animal.
Literally, it's called feral mutagen.
He spins around to attack your apprentice as she stands at the ready. When he does so, you sink your claws into his ribs and just squeeze. He grimaces in pain as he rolls his scythe on his back. Sparks fly as you go to swipe at him. He spins around and he checks you in the chest as your snout just clamps shut inches from his face. Do you take any other horrific actions?
My ooze will now strike that guy. No, I can't do that without catching her. It's also not an ally of mine. But when
It's just there?
It's just, I just summon it and I give it an initial command and it attacks the nearest target.
Okay.
But it's not an ally of mine, so it will start attacking me if there's no other targets.
Okay.
Back in your Pokeball.
It doesn't go back. That's a one-way trip. And
Is this just a thing you've decided to make everyone else's problem now?
straight up? Because I have the move speed with her being a monk, I'm sure she does too, so we can get away from it faster than they probably can.
He said move speed. I thought he said moose seed.
The ooze,
Gary.
a 20 to touch that Juju zombie.
Yeah.
Of course he do.
It takes 3 strength damage.
Stop strength damaging my people. Because that affects so many things.
Oh yeah? Like what? Their damage?
Oh, I'm sorry, he takes more damage. Because he's undead. Is he undead?
Maybe.
He takes another 4 points
Let's
of damage.
pretend he is.
How much damage altogether?
4 and it ignores damage reduction. This ooze is specifically designed to fight undead.
Cool.
If my guy knew he was going to be fighting undead, he would have prepped for it.
Look what you started.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan.
Stop hitting that,
It's Nat 20 crit threat. Roll to confirm. I confirm over here.
Is this her?
Yeah.
Oh god. Oh no.
That will not hit. That, however, will hit. She does, in case you're curious, folks at home. 1d10 plus 7 plus 1d6 electricity damage.
She's all grown up.
21 with the first hit.
21.
30 points, 34 points with the second hit. And with that guy's dead.
Ow! So long, farewell.
As you cut into him and he's swinging his scythe, trying his best to keep you at bay, she rears back, slamming her fist into him. You see electricity roll through his body. He stumbles as he turns to face her. She comes up off the ground, kicking into the side of his head and slamming him into the stone floor so hard his feet come up and he rolls. Electricity. Anime style. Alright. The other two are not as super thrilled about what's happening. The other one's going to turn around and just engage in a melee with your anti-undead slime monstrosity.
It also has a 50-50 miss chance because it is on the ethereal plane. It's halfway in between the two.
Does this have ghost type? Does this have ethereal type?
Get better sights. Okay. 57.
Miss.
Potentially a hit.
No, 57, 2. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Is it above an 11?
Oh, that's kinked. I can't in good faith. Yes, it is above an 11. I rolled a 17 twice. It was kinked on 17, so I re-rolled it. It was 17 again.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to die. Dealing 15 points of damage to your crazy ooze thing. Oh yeah, I still gotta... Oh, it doesn't matter. He didn't... What'd you say, 11? Is it above 11? Is his AC 11?
His AC is 11.
Oh.
It's a giant blob. So.
Okay, it just can't not hit it, man. With a 12, it won't hit it, though.
Okay.
It cuts into this thing's chest. It takes a step back, and it gives a very... sound. When he goes to swing at it again, you see it kind of shift and blur as the scythe digs into the stone floor with an echoing metallic chink, and sparks fly out, but he does not make contact with your horrendous monstrosity. That guy has things happening.
Oh, yeah?
He'll take 1 point of acid damage at the start of his turn.
Oh, yeah.
Tick. Tick. Tick.
So I can also cause burn damage. Like, I can do burn damage, acid, like continual acid hits.
Can you make him go nut?
He's all tuckered out.
I don't remember. Max, it's a spell you may want to look into.
Which spell?
It is called
They go to
Touch.
sleep?
The blade of this creature's scythe is still glowing that dark, black, negative energy. But he will point at you as he chants in tones, and he begins to pull, as if he's trying to abstract something from you, and I will need a fortitude save.
Oh boy. 27.
Hey.
It is my best saving throw.
So as he does so, you feel your chest begin to hurt. Your lungs feel like they're about to collapse as you feel him trying to draw the air out of your lungs. As he does so, you kind of close your mouth and you just kind of focus and you are staggered for one round as you are trying to catch your breath and resist him drawing the air from your lungs. Suffocation.
Ew.
No breathing.
Your turn. Naka.
What does staggered do?
It staggers you.
Thanks.
I got you, dog.
Oh, easy.
Is that just a move or a...
A staggered creature may take a single move action or standard action each round. Staggered creature can still take a free, swift, and immediate action. A creature with non-lethal damage exactly equal to its current hit points gains the staggered condition. Which is irrelevant. But it's there, and I told you. And now you know.
A single action, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Whoop. I go invisible.
Of course you do. Why wouldn't you?
Specifically for the
These things have
DM's,
blind fight? That'd be cool.
for the DM's benefit, I have greater invisibility.
Stop.
So you know how Mal got real good if he was invisible?
Mm-hmm.
I rolled a 2. 58.
Not quite.
Yeah, that's kind of low.
I'm still... You gotta pump those numbers up, my guy.
Those rookie numbers.
With plus 40?
Delaney, do you remember from your Inquisitor days, Inquisitor, Investigator, were extractions a swift action or a standard?
Or what?
Extractions, your spells.
They weren't swift. It might have been.
I'll look it up.
Very nice.
I don't think it was one. So I had a special equipment that I used.
Yeah.
She just goes into a flurry against that guy.
Oh, and misses every single one of them. She runs over the table, grabbing it and doing kind of like a Dukes of Hazzard slide across it, like the hood of a car. When she lands on the other side, she begins throwing punches. This creature spinning around and with expert deftness begins to knock away her punches with his scythe and holding his ground. It is now his turn. He's going to swing at your monstrosity yet again.
Which one?
The big one. Oh yeah, he's just... You got a lot of monstrosities going on here.
So, considering your extract question, it is assumed that you make them while you are resting. It takes 1 minute to make one.
They've all been made and prepared like a wizard spell.
Yeah.
But that's the thing I do at the beginning of the day.
So otherwise, they're exactly the same as like
A spell?
a spell,
You use spell? I assumed that, and
or
I
as
did
like
that.
an alchemist. Yeah.
Yeah, I did that as a standard action for rules benefits.
Your creature takes 16 points of damage from the first hit. As he swings his scythe into it, it slams home. The creature looks down at it, grabbing it, and then you see it pull it through the side as it just kind of like shifts from this plane into the next one.
It doesn't actually mechanically change what's happening. It's not displacement as like True Sight would help. It uses literally halfway between the ethereal plane and the material plane, so it just has a 50% chance to not affect it.
Correct.
So like True Sight wouldn't work,
Right.
if that's what I mean.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me too.
Cool.
Good talk.
Your turn.
Okay.
I cast.
Did
Keys
my
of
ooze
Danger.
go on my staggered turn?
Sure. It
Last
acts on
turn,
your turns.
It did not. You did
No,
not.
I didn't do anything for it.
No.
Oh,
You want me to go ahead and do that now, or do you just...
whatever.
Well,
This is your dream.
this literally means nothing to anyone. It's going to try with a 15 touch.
Yeah.
It takes
These things have rigmarole, so they're kind of easy to dodge.
7 strength damage.
Stop. Oh, that's so much.
No, he's got 3.
What was his strength?
I tell you what, it's not.
Safe.
I'm in
danger.
I'll tell you whether or not. Safe.
By the way, the ooze,
Oh my god.
the ooze is not looking good.
That's okay. He has 7 strength.
Yeah. It started at 47. It's now sitting at 16.
Okay.
So it's not meant for a long time benefit. It's meant for a quick. I need that thing to be.
It's here for a fun time, not a long time.
Correct. I don't just summon ectoplasm for any reason. Invisibly, I'm going to fly.
Back.
And I am attacking him flat-footed. Correct.
You are. Well, you're attacking his flat foot.
Correct.
You'd said you were flying, so you wasn't flying.
Okay. 28.
28 will strike your flat-footed opponent.
Don't mind.
Yeah, we'll wait.
What's more fun than rolling 10 dice? 11!
Oh no.
That's so many 5s and 6s
And that's an 8.
on a d6.
I did.
He's hacked the game.
12, 15.
He's just meticulously sheared off each side, so that when he rolls it, it rolls all 6 numbers. That's how you hack dice.
20,
It's a round circle.
35, 48. 48 plus 6 is 54.
Stop.
Plus 10 bleed
Proud of you.
and 2 strength.
Just let him be dead.
I'm channeling my.
That's what it wants to be dead.
I'm channeling my inner Mal. And that was greater invisibility, so I'm still invisible.
Wonderful. Your apprentice's turn. She's going to be attacking.
She technically has the flank right.
She does have the flank right now.
Is she gonna cast murder?
Oh, yes. Crit threat.
From a different life, he taught her the rules of punch a punch.
That will confirm. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and...
No, just do it all.
No, well.
The user's only doing
She
strength.
can't
damage.
move in an
Hit.
attack.
Okay, help me. Hit. Crit. Confirmed crit. Hits. Misses. So,
2 hits, 1 crit.
yeah.
Womp womp.
Does it have shocking, like, blast?
That'd be cool.
Does she have rigor mortis?
No.
Dealing 16 on the first hit.
That's it?
Oh, I'm not done. Dealing 32 on the second hit.
Well, hang on. Did you just roll a d20 for the damage?
No.
Moves the 20 away just in cases.
Rolls dice, picks up another dice, rolls it anyways.
Dealing 11 damage on this. Oh, wait.
Double O's of 10.
17 damage. My bad. Yeah, 16 damage. Anyway. Running up to him, she slams a knee into the low of his back. You see electricity surges through him as she hits him in the face with an elbow. He rolls over, trying to check her in the shoulder. As with that push, she spins around and elbows him in the back of the head. He stumbles as she goes to throw a kick, and he finally checks her with the shaft of his scythe, and he stumbles back like, please, stop! I'm so weak. His turn. He's going to swing at your ooze with
50-50.
little success. It's here for a good time, not a long time. Nope. And also nope. That guy is going to swing at you, so you're displaced and invisible. I don't guess that stacks, so it's still just 50-50.
It's a 50-50.
Ha! Get dead.
Rolls a 1.
No. However, that was 1 away from crit threat. Does a 33 hit you?
Oh, yeah. That's Taviel. Like,
Max damage.
Man!
Good job.
I'm not mad at him, I'm mad at you.
Why? I mean, what do you want me to do?
17 points of damage.
you were very consistent with your damage, by the way.
As he swings, hitting just nothing with a... He swings up and he comes down as he hears you grunt in pain and his scythe finds purchase into the nothingness.
Into the unknown.
Cool. I heal for 5.
Stop.
Also, he would have taken 1 point of acid damage.
He's dead.
He's dead.
Is he really?
No.
Okay.
He's like, ha! Thud.
Womp womp.
Yeah. I'm just gonna crack my neck and go for it.
Yeah, if it ain't broke.
Bells.
That's a 17.
Yeah, wait, I guess it's flat-footed?
Yes.
No.
24.
Yes.
For the bite. 26.
Yes. Oh boy. Oh
So
boy.
this is.
Oh boy. That's why Mal did so much damage. It's not your rolls, it's the dice.
Those are different dice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna count this 1 5, 2 5s, 3 5s, 4 5s, 5 5s.
55?
3 6s, a 4, and a 3. To save everybody time.
So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 8, 51, plus
79.
I mean, you can if you want.
Was he the one that had 69 left?
No.
You also would have taken 2 strength damage.
Okay. So, the rest of the room, I imagine you're still floating, like, just off the ground. The rest of the room sees him swing and it hits. They see his scythe begin to push back. He looks at it and looks at you with his lowered strength and your newfound mutagen. They see his scythe tear from his hand as it swirls and sticks into the wall across the room. He suddenly lifts off the ground as they see blood begin to pool underneath his ribs. He screams out in pain as they see the hood rip away from his neck. And in a sudden flourish, he tears into 3 different sections before hitting the ground in a pool of viscera and gross. Do you take any other gross actions?
I can.
Yours?
I appreciate you.
Slimer. Slimo.
I assume, because I was going to go for the, I did go for the full attack, so that was a full action.
This thing's Paul.
Ooze is going to reach out and touch somebody. Yeah.
I wanna hold that hand of yours.
18 to touch.
Yeah.
Free strength.
Stop.
Nope. Yeah, can you?
Oh,
I've stopped writing down how much strength damage he's done and just started writing down how much he has left.
he also takes 7 damage. Because he's a ninja.
No, his health isn't funny anymore.
Never was.
His scythe, the head of his scythe is on the ground. Can he lift it?
I also would have called
20
it.
pounds
It's
then.
not too late to surrender. And they would hear me licking the blood of the undead creature.
Oh, that's freaking
Yeah.
gross.
Gross. Hells.
I don't think you know what I do for a living. That's not the grossest thing I've done today.
I'm not going to expound on that.
Oh, 10 pounds, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he technically can steal a little bit.
Go for it.
Do it.
Does he have the strength score to wear his armor?
A fun thing, he's not wearing armor.
Okay, good.
So yes.
Is his skin too taut for him?
60 to potentially hit your
It will probably hit.
slime guy, and 82 to potentially hit your slime guy.
But slime is probably dead.
You said anything above 11?
Anything above 11. All of its ACs are 11.
That technically is above 11.
Oh!
Not high above 11, but it is above 11.
That low, eh?
Oh boy.
I'll put this
Do 1
again.
point.
14 points of damage.
It's still alive.
Oh no, he's gonna hit it again.
You've already rolled that one.
Did I make it?
You did.
Yay.
If you did not hit it, you've already rolled to hit it.
15 points of damage.
Sure. I'll allow it.
As you see it swing down and, swing across, up, and then down. Quad? Hang on. Quadrif? If it's bifurcating.
Splitting it into 4?
Yeah, bifurcating. Quadrificating.
Sure, just
Quaficating.
quartering
It
it.
quaficates it.
Quarter?
That's a quaficate.
No.
Somebody is watching this. Like, that's not the word!
Quarter? Quarter.
Sure.
It was funny, and then it was sad. It made me sad. It made me sad.
Also,
Gee, sorry!
No, not you, Delaney.
What'd you do?
You said somebody's watching this. Well, that's not the word. I'm like, somebody's watching this.
No.
And then I laughed, and then I cried.
I'll watch it and laugh at my own joke. Because I'm a tool.
At yourself?
yeah.
That guy right there, he told a funny joke. That's you. I know.
Anyway.
I do that all the time.
Me?
Yes. I don't think the monk went, did she?
She did not.
Oh,
He went. Killed
now it
him.
is her turn.
Is she going
No.
to kill him?
Yes.
Maybe.
Maybe that won't hit. Crit threat. And that will confirm.
So 1 in a crit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Do you need help?
18.
6.
How'd I do that? I don't know.
Shut up. You shit your dirty man. Shush.
He's playing with himself. Hang on.
He's still alive!
Shiny man.
That's not good for him.
Shiny.
The fact that he lived through that. She hits home. You see electricity burst through him and it begins to kind of crackle and arc across the ground. He turns around trying to check her at every turn, but she is throwing way too many punches. She spins in the air and drives a heel hard into his side as he staggers, and you see blood begin to soak through the shroud around his mouth. Kill Slime, your turn.
For your reference, I've not dropped below half.
Cool.
It gets really windy around him for a second. 25 to hit.
That will strike your opponent. That's with your +2. It is flank.
27. I've not been adding my flank bonus.
I get that.
Do you do more than 21?
I can tell from here, yes, he did more than 21.
It's not.
I count 17.
It's the lowest I've rolled. Hold on.
I see 17 on 3 dice.
You only rolled d6s.
20, 33,
17,
that math doesn't add.
I see 6 and
38, 44,
Stop. God, he's dead. Stop.
and I would pop out of invisibility. It's like, shall we? And still a combat stance.
He says, I'm very, very impressed. He says, however, you and I both know, as he places his hands behind his back and he begins to walk around the table, he walks onto the opposite side of the table that she is standing on. She squares up, and it looks like she's just waiting for you to give the order. He says, but as we both know, you can hardly harm me as much as I can harm you. The only person in this room that could actually do any real damage here is your little creation. He says with an air of disgust, right? He says, and we both know how that will go as well, don't we? He snaps his fingers as you hear the marching sound of what sounds like dozens of bodies as these things begin to file into your lab. A small, almost like platoon of these things walk in, as well as a creature that has a gaunt face, completely void of hair. Its nose has been decayed and shriveled to the point that it's receded into its face, into this kind of corpse-like snout. Its teeth are exposed with its lips not pulled back from decay like the other creatures in this room, but almost like they've been surgically removed. Its eyes are sewn shut, and it wears this leather kind of cloak that drops around it. As it steps into the room, it reveals its hands, and instead of fingers, it has syringes that extend out from the second knuckle of every finger, and you see this kind of green liquid dripping from the needles. You hear this high clicking noise as it kind of teases with these things. It looks at you with this malicious kind of grin. And when I say look, regard may be more the word. As it eyelessly faces you and begins to chatter its teeth. As it steps to the side, from the open doorway, you see another creature completely fill the arch. It has long, kind of bone-like arms and legs, but they end on what looks more like blades. Its torso is horizontal to the ground, as its limbs, much too long in proportion to the rest of its body, arch up almost insect-like as it walks on the tips of these blades and makes a skittering, tinking noise across the stone as it steps in. You see its skin is pulled taut around its skeletal figure, giving it an emaciated look, and almost like it shouldn't be moving. It shouldn't be alive at all. But it moves with an otherworldly grace as it steps into the room to face you. As you are faced with these overwhelming odds, she looks back at them and she turns into that stance as if she is willing to go down fighting.
I believe it is time for you to make your exit. Me and this man right here have a date that we've had for a long time.
She looks at him, then back towards you.
This is not a battle we can win. You have a mission. Complete it.
Pulling the vials that you had previously handed her, she takes a step back. You see the handsome gentleman looking at you, turns and faces her as he smiles and he says, "Go on. If you think you can run, leave him. We'll get what we need from him eventually." She pops a vial, drinks it. He waits as she pops the second and drinks it as well, and turns into the gaseous form and retreats into the many vents you have installed into this place and disappears. As you are faced with these overwhelming odds, the handsome gentleman steps around you as they just kind of swarm you. In a flash of blood, blade, alchemical mixtures, in a fight that would last much longer than it should against these insurmountable odds, you find yourself on your knees, blood dropping to the ground around you, as the handsome gentleman steps in front of you. He leans down and he says, "And just like your little rebellion, the other Izatha that have been nothing but a thorn in my master's side, I have crushed you just as I have crushed them."
Yes. But you fail to understand one thing. You don't get to a position I'm in without multiple escape routes. I would end my mutagen, which was increasing my constitution. And you know what happens when the barbarian's constitution goes from rage state to not rage state?
It lowers.
It lowers, so my health would drop below my death point, and I would just collapse to it.
As you do so, right, he looks down at you as your blood begins to soak into the tile. He tilts his head in kind of confusion as the blood begins to seep into the creases of the stone floor, and it's only when it's highlighted by the crimson pool that he begins to notice the symbol beneath him. He looks around as your blood begins to spread out, surrounding him and all the creatures therein, as the symbol that you had carved in here and meticulously moved the tiles to create begins to activate. And this sigil flashes to life. His eyes get wide as he looks at this army of undead that has surrounded you, as they all scream out in pain as this holy light jettisons out and floods the entire laboratory. He screams in pain as these chains jet up from the ground and wrap around him. They begin to bind him in a mixture of black and gold. As it sinks him to the floor, he screams out, "There's a thought!" He says, "I will get you for this!" And with that, you awaken.
It's not a gentle awaken either. It is a...
Talk about that. That was the most restful sleep you've ever.
And that's saying something.
You've not had a 50-pound slug on your chest before, have you?
And just like that...
Have you?
No!
Hold on. Pause. Time out.
Did you say a 50-pound slug?
He sure did.
God, that's what my nightmares are made out of. I'm not gonna lie.
It's dense. It's not big. It's just dense.
So, Eli,
That's almost just as terrifying.
That's so scary.
is there a possibility that I'll need to use it?
Just...
Okay. I'll keep, because that was not even everything.
Oh, I believe you.
Oh no. Oh, my.
Also, Max, that spell I was telling you about is not a druid spell. Which surprises me because it's called Elemental Fist.
It doesn't necessarily surprise me. There's a lot of weird things that are you would think are druid stuff that are not.
Do you know why? Me neither.
I will say I had
Like,
displacement. I had Elemental Body 2, the air elemental. That's what was giving me my fly speed.
Is that the one that Amos was doing?
No.
Maybe.
I could have turned into a whirlwind, but me doing sneak attack was far more useful.
Potent.
I was sneaking attacking like a 15th level rogue. If I ever need to play a rogue in Pathfinder, I will make that alchemist rogue again.
Click the other button. No, the other one.
It was a really useful combination.
I was close.
Hey, Delaney, you want your dice back? Because Dr. Isaac Tongue will not need this many d6s.
Sure.
I got it.
I try to be helpful. And people are just like, no. You.
Thanks, sir.
Oh, my back's cracked. I feel better. I take back what I said about you.
But there you go.
Max is over here doing homework the game, and he ain't even doing anything right now. It's funny as hell.
I'm not going to lie, I spent a significant part of my planning period today looking at how to play this character so I could play him actually efficiently. That's why I started with it. Could I have actually done these few things?
Yeah, so when you get to me, mine's not going to be that prepared. Just so you know.
When you get to me, I cast murder.
You complained about not having
And then I had
time.
a whole week
You had a whole week.
of not having time to do it.
Feel that?
Everybody else's hands and not mine.
But it's playable.
You were like, you didn't give me time. You didn't give me time.
But now
You
it's my
didn't give me
fault.
Time, everywhere's time. Just grab it.
I had fun. I appreciate you, Eli.
Well, good.
I enjoyed watching Wolfman try to beat up Edward.
Try.
Well, you clearly didn't kill Edward, so.
I think I did.
You were still sparkling in that room, let me tell you.
Okay.
I don't know what's happening.
You do that.
I was making a twat.
You be right back. So, Perry.
Not ready.
Ready enough.
You see that same black void, illuminated by a single column of light, and sprouting thereforth that same leaf. You see Wormy make his way up, and just like everyone else, begins to circle and create his chrysalis from which he is now encased in. You see the purple as it begins to undulate, and almost like a rhythmic heartbeat, like something at rest as you sleep. You feel that same comforting sensation wash over you, as if everything that is befallen you, everything that is weighing on you is lifted, and you are once again under the effects of restful sleep.
You guys all had nightmares.
What?
I think mine wasn't really a nightmare.
Oh, well.
It started off that way a little bit.
I'm still waiting.
I'm sure mine's
Mine's got a load screen.
Oh, I'm
I might
sure.
have been a little premature with that
Yeah.
assumption.
Just a little bit.
What is happening?
I don't know, man. I'm looking at a page about giant frogs.
Like American giant frogs. Not even in Pathfinder, just American giant frogs.
That's not true. It is.
It could have went either way.
I mean, it could have. It would have made sense. What do I become?
You do not have a dream or a past vision of your life as your companions have been having. You instead seem like you're being shown something that you were never there for. You see a small group of adventurers making their way into a cavern. This cavern is monstrous, reaching up probably about 80 feet at its highest point. And you see that the walls, for the most part, are natural, but very specific areas of it have been carved out, as if some group of people over time, like some kind of ancient, long-forgotten civilization, had turned this cavern into a place of importance. Moisture and debris and ruins suggest that whoever this was, however long it has been, has long since fallen into disarray and disappeared into the obscurity of history. This small group of adventurers consists of a dwarf, his hairline receding back, and you see gray streaks from the corners of his mouth that descend down into his thick, braided red beard. He has a very gruff expression on his face, an eyebrow ridge that even if he wasn't upset or grumpy, would make him appear so. With a broad nose, he's wearing full dwarven plate armor that, if you were to know what it was, you would know as adamantine armor.
Nice.
He carries with him a battle axe and at one side a small hand axe. With a hand axe still at his hip, he's the first one to step into this cavern. He shifts, his footsteps heavy and his armor clanking out to alert everything in a half-a-mile radius of where he is. Amos is here! Switch the camera, show Amos!
I attacked the mayor.
Good job!
Roll for damage.
Oh, you jumped into his dream sequence. That was wild.
It's the dwarf.
It's the dwarf!
I'm answering.
Remind me to show you something after. Oh my gosh!
Nothing's in him.
Everything.
Nothing's in him. Can you plug this in
Flip
for me
table.
while we're all distracted? Holy crap.
That would take a feat of
I
immense
was like, I would
strength.
be impressed if you flip this
Or
table.
arms.
And then also.
The dwarf stepping into the room gives it kind of a cautionary glance, but is walking in with full confidence and determination. He is followed shortly after by a Syrinx cleric. Syrinx are people that look very similar to owls. He has a feathered face as white as snow. It is Syrinx, right? Yeah, Syrinx. I know my stuff. A beak that protrudes out from it and large blue eyes that almost glitter like the cosmos. He is wearing white and golden robes with a symbol of Tenagar on his chest. He follows behind and, a little more cautious than the dwarf, is looking around, his head on a full swivel that is equally impressive and disturbing as he examines the room. Followed behind him is a human with midnight black hair that drops in long silky strands down his back. He carries with him a pipe, and he is wearing purple and black robes that have a starburst pattern in these motes of like cosmic and celestial bodies that decorate it, but in no pattern, as if he had drawn or sketched just across a fabric that had been turned into this cloak. He has a sleepy expression on his face, with a mustache that rounds into a goatee, and he carries with him a pipe. As he draws from the pipe, you not only can see and hear what's happening, you can smell the smoke coming off of the pipe. You smelled tobacco smoke before? This is not that. As he walks in and he just kind of looks around, he's like, is it safe? Seems safe. And continues in. He is followed thereafter by a towering woman standing well over 6 feet tall. She has a kind of like a what would be like a Middle Eastern skirt that has a slit that comes up to allow for freedom of movement. She has sandals that lace up to about halfway to her knees, and a single cloth that crosses over both of her shoulders and across her chest. Her hair is done up in a high ponytail that drops down between her shoulder blades, and her hair is platinum blonde. She has these swirling tattoos that decorate most of her body, with the exception of her face, decorating her back, her arms, and down her legs, and even on her sides. Sorry. Give me a second. I have my stuff together.
One Mississippi.
I have my stuff together.
Oh my.
Okay. She steps in, and what stands out most, aside from the tattoos, the platinum blonde hair, is her skin is a light shade of blue. Almost like a brilliant sky blue. And her hair seems to kind of dance and waft whenever she steps. She moves with an unnatural grace, and she carries on her a dagger and a kukri. As she steps into the room and she says, "Well, I'm glad to know we've taken precautions to look for traps. We send in the tank first," she jokes. And stepping behind her, and to your surprise, is your father. Much younger than you remember him, and with an expression on his face that you are not familiar with. He's smiling.
So is it joy? Is it happy?
It is happiness.
Happy, happy, joy, joy.
Never seen that.
As if he has a as if he is amused by her comment. And you see this kind of look on his face, almost like puppy love, as he follows shortly behind her. He still has the wizard robes, and he carries with him his spell book, but it's not as extravagant as you remember. Even looking over it and being trained to recognize magical items, he has very few on him. He does carry his satchel at his side, and poking out from the bag, the very same bag that you carry, is Robbie. As he just kind of pokes his little ferret head out, and he begins to like sniff and scurry around. They walk into this cavern. As your father turns to regard the human with the sleepy-eyed expression on his face, he says, "Is this the place, Alaman?" Alaman says, "Give me a moment." "Yeah, I think this is the place." As this cloud of white smoke floods the cavern, the dwarf looks wholly unamused about what's going on, as he says, "Fine, then I'll set up the camp." As he walks into the middle of the room and he takes off a heavy bag, and it seems like he's taken on the responsibility of being the pack mule, as the only person in here that could probably match him in strength is either the tall blue woman or the cleric. And by match him in strength, I mean carry the bags that he's carrying, not actually match him in strength.
Maybe together.
Maybe together. You hear the bag hit with a heavy as he begins to just kind of unpack. The Syrinx steps over into the middle of the room as he begins to kind of use detect magic and scan the entire area. They begin to kind of set up what seems to be a camp, and they have this kind of single-minded determination about what's happening. The tall woman turns and looks at your father as she says, "So, 3 down, 2 more to go." She says, "Are you excited?" He says, "Yeah, I didn't think this journey would be ending so soon." He says, "But we're over halfway through, and the door's just on the other side of this mountain." He kind of looks into this opening maw of a passageway on the far end. It is dark in this area. The only light that's illuminating anything is a small ion stone he has floating above his head. Soon the dwarf, however, has a small fire going that continues to illuminate the area. The only one that's not really contributing to setting up the camp is the sleepy-eyed human who's just sitting on a rock watching it all go down. Even the tall woman is getting her stuff together, rolling out her sleeping bag and moving debris to the side. As she lifts and moves stone, you realize she's probably much stronger than she looks. even with her towering size, when she lifts up a stone and just kind of with little effort tosses it to the side. Your father watches her do so as he... and just... Fair. They begin setting everything up. The dwarf turns as he says, Galamandius! The Syrinx turns to face him. He says, you're doing one of your incognitions, your sigils, or whatever you have here. Is Tenagar going to be here tonight? He says, it'll be taken care of. He turns to look at Alaman. He says, is this the place you need? Is this well enough? Alaman says, yeah, I just need to find a... He, moves over into what's clearly not his sleeping bag. The dwarf turns his back as Alaman begins to just, sandals on and everything, crawls into his sleeping bag. Alaman turns around and sees the human, and just kind of, this'll do. The dwarf grabs it by the end and gives one a, and just sends him rolling out of it as he moves the sleeping bag over. Alaman goes, it's going to be much more difficult to fall asleep if you keep doing that. Says, make your own bed. They begin to kind of settle down and get everything ready. This goes on, this kind of bantering between them for some time. And in this time, you begin to kind of learn their names, just from conversation and how they begin to have kind of a side conversation with one another. The tall woman and your father begin to speak, and in that time, just casual, idle conversation as they begin to cook dinner and relax. You find that the dwarf's name is Dinrook. Of course, the human is Alaman. The cleric is Galamandius. And her name is Ayla. They begin to kind of settle down and get things together. She sits with your dad and begins to have conversations and talk to him about aspirations he has, where he sees himself, what he's going to do once they find the other two keys. He begins to kind of wax poetic about how he's never had any real ideas of grandeur, how he just wants to settle down in a quiet life somewhere away from the hustle and bustle of royalty or cities or anything like that. And as he describes this kind of idea he has for himself, this simple living as a wizard in the countryside, just making his way with his magics and his knowledge, you realize he's none of those. You've only ever known him as a vizier to the king. As someone that knows everything, has done everything, has been there to answer any questions, and hasn't shown you the same kind of kindness and soft tone that he shares with her. As they begin kind of their idle conversation, you see the dwarf spends no time at all sitting back against a pillar, and he kind of closes his eyes and nods his head, but he does so in full armor. He is not sleep. He's resting, but he's not sleeping. Okay. He's not in his bedroll. He's not keeping watch. He just seems to be resting in full plated armor. The cleric walks over and kneels down, holding his holy symbol of Tenagar, as he begins to close his eyes and he begins to mutter to himself in prayer. The human seems to be the only one that's preparing to go to sleep. With his bedroll out and a tummy full of food, he settles in and he gets very comfortable. And it seems like everyone in this group are focused on him going to sleep. You would think, oh, they're getting ready to all bed down for the night, but they're not, just him. As he gets his bedroll ready and he closes his eyes and he kind of... He opens his eyes, he reaches into his bag, and he pulls up a teddy bear. And that teddy bear looks very familiar. As he begins to...
Oh.
Interesting. Is that one of the keys?
They begin to talk and laugh.
This is
Didn't say no.
but we're gonna need that back.
The idea that Bob has this artifact power level item and it just calms him down and allows him to go to sleep is hilarious to me. This thing has ruined kingdoms and Bob uses this as a night.
Well, so's that guy.
Sure,
That's what it's meant for.
continue.
Ayla and your father, Alberium, sit and begin to just kind of talk and laugh and enjoy one another's company. And as you watch this, the thought enters your head, that is not my father. That is
Very much in dreams. That would never happen.
not the same person. As all of this is going on, she says, do you imagine doing all this alone? She says to your father. He says, well, I wouldn't mind having company in my simple little life. He turns to her with like this flirtatious, knowing smile, right? He says, you know, what's one more person to share my life with? And she says, how about 2? He says, 2? What do you... And his eyes get wide. As she smirks, all of a sudden you hear Daruk say, it's time! As he stands up, you see the cleric spin in place as Alaman, laying on the ground, holding his teddy bear, begins to kind of shake and sweat. You see a look of concern on his face as he reaches out and he grabs something in the air. Denrook pulls out his axe, rolling it in his hand, prepared to fight. You see Galamandius with his holy symbol preparing an action. As Ayla runs up, producing her kukri and dagger, as your father holds his spell book and begins to focus, and Robbie kind of retreats back into the bag because Robbie knows what's up. As this is happening, you see Element... And when he opens his eyes, you see wrapped in his clutches is a figure that just appears from nothingness. As if the moment he woke up, he drew something out of his sleep and placed it into the material realm with him. The figure standing over him is a towering masculine figure that looks like it's made out of smoke and shadows. Its eyes are a piercing white color as it looks down at Alaman. It looks up and you see the shape of the eyes shift into what you imagine to be an expression of surprise. As it examines the room and sees this group surrounding it, Alaman looks up at him and says, gotcha. And in that moment, you suddenly feel yourself sink into your father's consciousness. And you find yourself acting in the same moment that he is acting in. And with that, I will need you to roll for initiative.
That's a quick thing.
Yes?
I don't know
Did
who's
you
in
look up the class that you told me to do?
Maybe.
Are you sure?
Uh-huh.
Is he be wearing armor and having a buckler as well?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay. So he has those things.
He does that.
Okay.
It's your dream, man.
Like, do I need to?
Well, heck, if that's the case.
Harry, the Dream Warrior.
So funny.
Well, I'm going last. I know exactly how to play this.
Turns out I was actually a god, so when I died, I didn't.
By the way, something I didn't run past you is I have hellhounds, 2 of them.
Sorry. 4.
That are awoken,
They're actually,
anthropomorphized.
they're actually Hounds of Tyndalos.
One's name is Ripper, the other one's Gary.
I made them from Tenderloin.
Ripper and Gary.
Ripper's big, deep, serious, like mostly. Gary's like tongue like
That's how I
5
got
feet
his
long.
ass.
It's still on fire. It's still a hellhound.
I think they're drawing it that 3-headed dragon. 2 of them are really serious. The other one's like dirt.
It only makes sense.
It only does.
So if Perry's mom is an owl person and his dad is a human,
What?
and he's a fox person.
Nope. Let him
where's-
cook. Let him cook.
Okay.
The male owl Galamandius is your mother.
That tracks.
I'm expecting.
Oh no.
As a matter of fact, here it is, an egg. You have to set
from
up.
inside.
How would you like your baby cooked? Scrambled or easy?
I love what is happening.
This joke is excellent.
Preferably sunny side up. I mean, I'll take it.
Holy cow.
It looks like it's pre-scrambled.
This is stupid. It's always the same.
Oh man.
Which part?
Yep. At its core. Nothing has changed but distance.
Alvarium.
Oh, but then
I see you didn't take the improved initiative feat.
I did not.
You also got an 11?
I hope I get an 11. I saw.
Across time, across dimensions, across worlds. 11 is just the initiative party.
We all share one thing. 11.
A warped sense of humor.
Do what?
A warped sense of humor.
Always have what you would say.
Yes, but no.
As Alaman stands up holding this figure, the figure hits Alaman in the chest, knocking him back 10 feet as Galamandius catches the sorcerer and stumbles back. The shadowy figure turns to face all of you and says, I was going to kill your friend in his sleep, but now I have the pleasure of making you all watch me as I murder your friends! And he shapeshifts.
Oh, God.
Oh dear.
He's a dragon.
Go.
Well, that got scary quick.
Don't run, buddy.
His scales are black. And in your studies, you know what a black dragon is. This is not a black dragon. The scales on a black dragon are more like the scales on a snake, where they're like shiny but kind of muted. The scales on this thing shimmer, almost as if you're looking into a living void of darkness. It has frills, not spikes, that run down the length of its neck, down its back, and off of its tail, which plume out on the end, almost like fins. And in between those frills are a red webbing that come out in contrast against its otherworldly black scales.
Can I do a knowledge plans?
You may! I also think it's interesting that you know it's planes. And not arcana like most dragons.
Well,
You did specifically say the phrase, unlike most dragons. I know of no greater hints to give someone.
33.
With a 33, you know not only what it is, you know exactly how old it is.
Oh, nice.
This is an ancient, esoteric nightmare dragon.
How many adjectives does one?
You need to friggin' run, even if it is a dream. Like, just haul it.
Borderlands enemy.
So my favorite thing I was reading, and it was like most spells are like pronoun, adjective, noun, and so it's like Valkyrius's destructive fireball, and it's like so it only makes sense that Mike's hard lemonade is like is an alchemical creation.
Or bowl of mac and cheese.
I can make this a reality.
You tap it and it just like turns into a club.
Have you seen what that does to racist people? That's exactly. He's like, I cast Mike's hard lemonade.
Turns him into a rag
Does
doll.
1d6 bludgeoning damage, but versus a racist it does 2d10.
With a crit, it removes 1d4 teeth.
Oof.
Anyhooters,
Oh, that's awesome.
this is an ancient esoteric nightmare dragon.
Deal.
These things dwell in the plane of dreams. They share the plane of dreams with dream dragons, who are typically more noble or heroic, where the nightmare dragons are the exact opposite of that. They are cruel and vicious creatures, looking for people that are roaming the dream planes that have no business being there. They not only feed on people that are dreaming when they induce nightmares, but if they find a living creature that has found their way into the planes of dreams, they can absorb their power and energy. These creatures are often found teamed up with nightmare hags to hunt down any creatures within the plane of dreams. With a 30 what again?
30.
You're broken. You may ask 2 questions about an ancient nightmare dragon.
Wow.
That's all made
no.
What's his mailing address?
I gave you an ally. I gave him an adventuring group.
I hear you. Doesn't make it any less scary.
Any special defenses?
Oh, where do I start?
At the top.
They have damage reduction, however, asking what their damage reduction is and what becomes their damage reduction is a separate question. They are immune to mind-affecting effects, paralysis, and sleep. They also have spell resistance. Knowing how powerful their spell resistance is a separate question.
How powerful is this spell resistance?
That's what you want to ask it.
A very, very important thing for a spellcaster to know.
If I had to put a number to it, it'd be 26.
Is it?
Too bad, depending on the
No, that's
spellcaster.
true. But
Just say you're level 20. It's a dream.
So, as this thing appears, the cleric with his Galamandius, with his held action, casts a spell, and you are all immediately immune to its fear effect. Ayla, with her held action, is going to completely disappear.
nice.
Dinrook, with his held action, is going to charge it.
Can I have a held action?
Because I'm a dwarf.
Can I have a held action?
Dinrook runs to this thing, and as it grows in size, revealing its true form, he just sinks his axe into it. As he does so, you see this purple glistening ichor just expel from the wound as he sinks his axe into it, and it roars out in pain. Alaman. What is Alaman going to do? Sorry, I had things. You do get one. Calm down.
I said Alaman.
Alaman. Alaman has so much going on right now. Alaman chants and tones. He points his hand into the center of the dragon, and you see these black rubbery tentacles jet up out of the ground and begin to constrict the creature around its arms and legs as he tries to anchor it to the ground. You have a held action. Because this thing is very much surprised.
Yeah. So I was looking for our sheets of how to roll spell resistance.
D20 plus caster level to beat its spell resistance. Unless you have feats that overcome spell resistance that give you bonuses to it, it's just a D20 plus caster.
That's it.
10 votes.
Yeah, that's it, my guy.
That's it.
You're level 20, so it doesn't matter. Right. It's a dream.
Dream.
I mean, I'm going to try.
You might be the only person that gets that reference right.
Were you singing what I think you were singing?
Uh-huh.
Holy cow, I didn't know anyone else knew that song.
Shark Girl and Lava Boy.
Oh, that's not
and Lava Girl.
that's not the song that I was thinking of then.
Shark Lava and Girl Boy.
Coming to theaters 2025.
Oh my gosh.
Real things we wish.
It's a successor to Sharknado.
Oh.
Oh no.
Okay.
No. I'm gonna try to pass through a ranged touch attack on her.
Yes,
With
I am
spell
for the
resistance.
record.
Of
No?
24. I don't think I get anything.
Gross.
Unless you have a feat that gives you stuff to overcome spell resistance.
As previously stated.
The thing that we all know you have.
Beat, yes.
So, chaining and toning, you point out at this creature. As your spell strikes it, just solid. It is way too big for you to miss. But fizzles and disappears.
Yeah.
Top of the round again. This dragon turns As it looks down at the dwarf, it opens its mouth as if it is going to just
It's fine.
engulf him. Why? What? Nothing changes? Okay. As it goes to engulf the dwarf in a single bite, when suddenly you see it stop and begin to shake its head, as you see wounds begin to open up on the side of its neck and across to the other side. You hear the sound of blades cutting into it, but see nothing as you hear the and it roars out. Galamandius chants and tones as he pulls his fist down, and you see a pillar of golden fire shoot down to engulf around the dragon, but in a similar situation, hits and then dissipates into nothing. Galamandius' eyes get kind of wide, and he say, "It may be stronger than we thought it was."
Delaney, for your record, if you picked, depending on the favorite class, your certain spells may be casted as if you are a higher caster level. So, like, elemental sorcerers cast lightning spells as if they were 1 or 2 levels higher.
But that doesn't matter for stories, overcoming story resistance.
It does. Because you're
Because you
casting
add
that
your
spell
caster
as if
level.
you were caster levels higher before. Just a thing to note.
Alaman says, "Well, I would have given this to Ayla, but she is somewhere else." As he stands up with his pipe, he chants and tones, he points. You see the dwarf begin to blur as he is a half a step faster than everyone else.
Which is a whole step for him.
Oh yeah.
You would know.
Thanks.
Great mind think alike.
Oh god.
The dragon The dragon is going to turn in place. You see the black tentacles are struggling to hold him as he just turns, ripping through them. As he faces Alaman, his chest swells up, and you see this green glow begin to appear in his throat. As he opens his mouth, and this hideous caustic fume just rolls out and completely engulfs the sorcerer and cleric. You see them both recoil in pain as you see their flesh begin to kind of dissipate from their bone and blood begins to hit the ground, dealing way more damage than you'd be comfortable with.
What kind? Is it elemental damage?
It is. It's acidic.
Okay.
The dragon, with a heavy beat of its wings, begins to fly into the air as he leaves the dwarf's area. The dwarf swings again and, to no surprise, makes contact again, cutting into the creature as he takes to the wing and rises 50 feet into the air. Wait, can he move 50 feet? Yeah!
Yes.
Because straight up is half, yeah? Oh yeah, he's
He good. He good.
Oh no.
Such good.
Oh no. Oh no.
Top of the round, as he raises into the air, you feel that you see that same kind of cuts begin to appear across his face.
Top of the round.
Yeah.
So that.
Oh, your turn.
Okay.
My bad.
I was like, hold up now. Hold up. Wait a minute.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
I'm going to give all of us resist energy for acid.
Hey, that's cheating.
It'll reduce everyone by 10 acid resistance.
It washes over everyone.
Put that down.
Okay, and then I'm gonna move up by that pillar. Yeah. Yeah, and I have my buckler out that I've had the whole time.
Cool.
Yeah.
With buckler and armor, you run to the side, sliding up to the stone pillar as you take as much partial cover as you can. Waiting in place, you see cuts begin to appear on the dragon's face as it shakes its head, and you see its attention is now turned to whatever keeps cutting
I
it.
can see her.
You see her, as she cuts it across the face, She hits and she kind of begins to move around it, trying to keep it guessing where she is, but you feel like it's not 100% working.
Yes, because I definitely had knowledge that I'd be with invisible companions, and it'd be my crush, so I did not cast permanency on See Invisible on myself.
I feel you.
I actually did prior to it.
I feel you.
I didn't think about spell resistance then. That'd have been a cool thing to think about.
I'm glad I didn't have to worry about it.
Galamandius, he presenting his holy symbol. This burst of positive energy washes over him and the sorcerer as you see their wounds heal, but not completely. Alaman is going to do a thing. He's going to do a thingy thing.
A thingy thing?
Oh, you got it.
Ooh,
Something much more.
You made his private sanctum and just hide.
He makes a magical yurt.
It's a tent.
Thanks.
He runs over to Dinrook. As he slaps Dinrook between the shoulders, Dinrook goes as he comes off the ground. He says, "Get him!" As he kind of like hoists him like a balloon.
Just magic.
Does it fly? Because I was thinking he was making him big.
Fly
he's
or
making-
levitate?
It's fly. Get him! Unfortunately, Dinrook has no skill points in that. But Alaman thinks this is hilarious.
Does Fly give you 20 skill points? I think Fly gives you a bonus to Fly check.
The dragon turns. As you hear it begin to chant and tone, it gestures with a clawed finger down at the dwarf and Alaman. You see this pink mist roll over both of them. You see Dinrook start to become sleepy, and then he's like, "Ugh," and he shakes it off, and you see Alaman go, and nothing happens.
Oh.
So dragon wasted that. Also provoked an attack of opportunity. As he chants in tone and he does that, you see another cut go across his face, but he doesn't seem super bothered by it, like it doesn't cut his concentration. Alvarin.
Try again.
You may.
There is a 20% chance this has opportunities.
Nothing.
No, it's real high at 26.
26 meets.
No, I was saying that 26 is really high.
Oh, 26 is really high. Chanting and toning, you point at the dragon when it fizzles out. Alaman turns and he looks at you and he says, "Try hitting him."
Yeah. Why don't you try hitting him?
I'm here to buff and not be put to sleep.
Permanently.
Dinrook starts to kind of like, as he starts like trying to run in the air as he like begins to ascend, but he doesn't quite get there, even in two movements. You see those cuts begin to appear around him again. You suddenly see a tear in one of his wings. He growls out as he looks to the side, and you can tell Ayla is trying to bring him down as she takes her kukri and just slashes into the fleshy webbing of his wing. Galamandius is going to chant and tone. He runs. Oh gosh, he'd have to be directly under him. He runs almost directly under the dragon. As he presents his holy symbol and extends his hand up, you see these golden chains shoot from the ground as they wrap around the dragon's wings, and he pulls down as you see the dragon is just suddenly drugged to the ground and slams hard, cracking the stone platform that he once stood on.
That's just spell resistance.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're all higher level than that.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm
your
the
dad.
baby.
Your dad's the baby of the group.
Okay.
Because this is the end of their adventure, and you are not high enough level for an end of adventure.
Told you level 20.
Apparently. That makes more sense.
The dragon grunts and is not very happy with what just happened. As he takes his tail and he strikes Galamandius with what is called an awesome blow. And he knocks him 20 feet back. Galamandius brings the dragon to the ground, and with a hit of his tail, he's just and just shoots by, rolling across the ground. Alamon Wait, does he have to touch him? He may have to touch him.
Can touch somebody.
I touched the butt.
Bless you.
Oh gosh, I hate it.
Bless you.
I watched the wind up to that sneeze.
I felt the wind up to that sneeze.
Nope. He points, and you see the clumsy floating Denrook is now a big boy. As he's just like, and the dragon goes past him, and then he's like, doubles in size and octuples in weight. But it doesn't affect him, he's fine.
Macy's Steve.
You had already went?
Yeah.
Okay. Ayla drops down as she sinks the dagger into the throat of this thing. Galamandius stands up from the hit as he coughs. Blood hits the ground as he chants in tones and begins to heal himself. Alaman focuses and he extends his hand out, and you see reality begin to blur and warp around the dragon as he just kind of focuses and begins to clasp his hand. And you have no idea what he's doing.
No.
Nope. Even because your dad would not. Your dad has never seen this before, and it is unique to this adventure path.
It's a made-up spell.
It is a made-up spell. All spells are made up.
And the points don't matter.
But they do. You gotta win. We gotta win Pathfinder.
I feel like I did my part.
Because that's a sentence.
Yes, it is.
Some people believe it too.
But it was a sentence.
The dragon stands up, the chains pulling hard against him, as he snaps into the air, swings his claws, turns around, swings his tail, and his wings flare out. As you see Ayla just dancing and trying to dodge, and he cannot hit her. And you think it's a mixture of, one, he can't see her, which is odd for a dragon of his age. And two, the chains are restricting him, and so he's just having a hard time getting it. As Alaman extends his hand out and the dragon begins to blur and shift, he says, "Now try to hit him," he says to you.
Okay. Like, physically?
Whatever.
Okay. How does it affect his spell resistance?
If you feel froggy hop.
I was just gonna buff some folks.
That is also a thing you can do.
When you do
No, I feel like
Hit him as hard as you can.
I don't have any damage.
That's okay then. Probably buff somebody.
Yeah. Because you probably didn't read all the things about the class. You
No,
know.
he's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I feel like I'm being blamed.
How dare
I had
you
so
not
many
know
calls
about
for that.
Delaney's dad's character that Delaney built like an hour ago?
I didn't hear a denial.
It's
That's
like
it.
2 hours ago at this point.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's give him a little bit of credit.
Are
doubling it.
Ayla and Denrook close to each other? Adjacent to each other?
Yes, because he is big boy.
And they're flying?
Yes, both of them.
Okay. I use my cape to fly up there. This Bronx turns into wings.
Yeah, let's cut that cape.
And I give all three of us stone skin. It reduces up to 100 points of damage.
Also gives you natural armor.
Okay.
It's only 10 per round, though. It's only 10 per round, though.
10 points.
Maximum we can do
Oh.
is 100 total, but we can only do 10 per round. Or per hit. Promise.
Once the spell has prevented 10 points of damage per caster level for a subject that spell's effect and for that subject.
Which one?
And nothing to root for.
So I have bark skin and iron skin on this guy, but not stone skin.
Unless you pull up the original stone skin, in which these were. Usually have the R10 adamantine.
Holy crap! Neat.
You're right.
I know I'm right. I have looked at that spell a lot.
I don't like how the communal ones don't give you the full spell. It's as if this, go and look up that.
Yep. I hate it.
Dinrook comes down, doubled in size as previously stated, with his much larger axe. As he sinks the blade into the back of this dragon's skull, the dragon roars out in pain as Dinrook just sinks down into this thing, weighing its head to one side. But even still, Dinrook is this tall compared to it. Even though he's such a big boy. Ayla runs down one side of it as she gets between you and it, and she drags her kukri across its head, and she is standing directly between you and it, effectively giving you cover to any kind of area spells that it may cast.
For a reason.
Galamandius, he's running out of things. Not really.
Who?
You got it.
The bird jokes are real.
They've only been around for
Is that a
over
fish?
a year now.
Yeah, it's the sirens.
You said it's real.
The jokes.
What is going
You alright?
That's how it feels to be around you. That's what it's like.
Galamandius presenting his holy symbol. You see these golden blades appear in the air as they shoot down, striking into the dragon and then disappearing, dealing no damage to it.
Oh no.
Alamon continuing his concentration, the dragon beginning to blur. He continues to just hold that without doing anything else. The dragon turns around and with a flourish of his wings, he breaks the chains that are holding him down. You see Galamandius kind of shake his head as if his passive concentration is no longer doing a thing. The dragon is then going to cast Greater Dispel around everyone around him.
What school is that from?
Greater Dispel, you ask?
Transmutation. I don't think so.
Abjuration.
So
cast.
I'm going to
8?
attempt to counterspell that.
It's out.
You may.
I don't remember how that works.
I think you have to have it prepared.
I don't. As long as it's from the same school.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Because
Well-
of my class.
Then I can't help you.
Well, it's still the counterspell would still.
Yes, but I can't help you if it doesn't follow the same
What's the
rules.
question?
Do you have the feat counter spell?
Disrupt spellcasting with a touch. As a melee touch attack, you can place a disruptive field around the target. While the field is in place, the target make a concentration check to cast any spell with a spell-like ability in addition to any other required concentration checks. The DC of this is 15 plus twice the spell's level.
I don't think that works.
Pause for rules.
Rules.
Is it a ability or is it an actual spell? Elon.
It's an actual spell.
Make sure.
Well, there's also an ability within the School of Abjuration called Disruption.
Yep. That's it.
I feel like you're not eating that because of what I said earlier, Max.
What? I straight up forgot it was there.
Bird,
I 100% forgot it was there.
So you had to have done this as a melee touch check, and then in the future, if they try to cast in the Abjuration School magic.
So right now I can't do anything.
No.
Because it's
Because counterspell is something you prepare.
It is.
He has a special class feature where he can make a melee touch attack that causes the dragon to have like a holding counter spell action on it. Yeah,
Okay.
that's like his class specific thing.
I got you.
But I can't. Okay. So I don't.
But he can.
And then it didn't. As it bursts out, the dwarf
Falls.
Oh,
and falls.
level 12.
Drops to the ground. Ayla becomes visible, but she does not drop to the ground. And you have a magic item.
Magic item.
Does it affect magic items?
Depending on the caster level check you roll.
That it rolled?
Yeah, it has to roll a caster level check versus the item's caster level, and it doesn't.
This does.
It will temporarily disable the magic item.
Pretty sure it's gonna.
Probably.
Considering what it is and what he rolled.
26.
Yes.
Sure.
I
So
promise
think the
that's
item is
it's beating it.
It's disabled for a minute.
You hit the ground. How high off the ground were you?
Featherfall.
Hitting the ground, the dwarf kind of just biffs it. Hitting the ground, it's like, ah! Alvarian, you're up.
Oh, I don't like this guy.
Disintegrate.
You got 2 blue and 1.
2 blue and 1? Yeah.
Then you cancel.
Sleepy sorcerer brought him into this world. We can take him back out.
I'm going to attempt. How
You
far
may.
away from he is? How far from?
You were 10 feet from him,
Okay.
which is in striking distance.
To cast his spell. So I'm going to take a 5-foot step back.
Just step right next to
and
that
right
pillar.
next to that pillar that's become my friend.
It's
And
my safe space.
attempt to surpass.
I imagine you're like, and then its tail goes, whoosh, and you're like, and over here.
And fizzle.
It fizzled.
What do you touch?
What was it?
It is a polymorph.
Fun.
That would have been hilarious.
You're like, become a rabbit!
Please.
So that you have floppy ears.
Please.
The dragon's just like, but nothing else changes. It's like,
What?
oh, it's hilariously terrifying.
What? The bed knobs and broomsticks.
Dinrook runs up to the dragon. He takes his axe, hoisting it over his head. He throws it with both hands. The axe flies through the air. It slams into the dragon. The dragon roars as it disappears and reappears in Dinrook's hands.
Nice.
Ayla wants to do some things and stuff.
Some possible roguey things.
Maybe. You don't know. Shut up.
I feel like the sneak attack multiple cuts across the head and the wing.
Or he's showing you the video.
She can't get away from it fast enough to and she doesn't have her sneak attack anymore. She's going to do a 4-round retreat.
That's not a 4-round retreat.
As she hides behind some of the runes and debris, she runs over, sliding to a stop. You and her can still make eye contact as she has her kukri in one hand and dagger in the other, and she looks at you and she says, "Okay." You're like, "Sure."
Great. Nothing I do works, but yes.
Yeah.
The one thing you did is
Question.
gone.
Would I have known that this thing had what we were fighting ahead of time? Would he have known?
I'll say yes.
Okay.
And I'll let you make appropriate changes until your turn.
Okay.
And it's
That's
not
just
great.
one.
It's still in the flesh, the ground beneath it.
Ooh.
Stop. That's the 3rd time tonight.
Turns into a starlight pit.
Why does it have teeth? That's not part of the
I
spell.
hope not.
The tentacles become teeth.
Galamandius is going to weep.
Wow, you're smart.
It is a free action. It's one I know well.
Galamandius runs to within eyesight of Dinrook. He chants and tones pointing at Dinrook, and you see Dinrook's axe glow with this kind of celestial and holy aura.
I know what he did.
Alamon is running out of options.
Is he?
Kinda. None of his things are really offensive. But they are offensive.
So what I'm hearing is there's a fence nonetheless.
He casts Heavy Toke.
Like that is a thing.
Because we got high. Because I got high.
I didn't go to that. I went to fencing. He cast on guard.
Cast on guard, he's got a +4 defense, and it's casting.
He chants and tones. You see this massive sphere of fire just appear. He said, "Second boy, this is the sphere." Runs over to the dragon and kind of, but nothing happens. But it does stay there. He goes, "I tried."
Yeah, I didn't know the feeling.
The dragon reaches down. He bites onto Dinrook. As Dinrook cries out in pain, he falls backwards, and you hear this hideous crunch noise. Dinrook raises up into the mouth of this dragon as he grabs onto the dragon's snout, and you see blood begin to roll down the side of its face as it grapples Dinrook in its mouth and prepares an action on its next turn.
Is it fire breath?
Yeah.
Elverum.
He likes his dwarf real toasty.
They are like marshmallow shaped.
Yeah.
I think more about that is how quick you thought of that, which means you thought of this before.
It's not so much a burning as it is a melting, though.
Yeah.
Any funny ideas?
I'll just keep trying. That 20% chance to hit him with something.
Get it, my guy.
You have a sword and a shield?
Try to hit him.
I don't want to get close to this thing.
It's just a dream.
Yeah, but it's not.
Well, it's a nightmare.
That's true.
Dream that you're rolling that 20.
No, is it 15-foot reach or 10-foot reach?
10 as he
You didn't
stated
ask that
last
question.
turn.
I'm getting.
Some trial and error.
Well,
take a 5-foot
first of all, he
step
cast
to
a
go
spell
to
the last time
diagonal,
15 feet
or
away.
no?
He would have been smacked
This
if
way?
he had
Yeah.
15 foot reach.
I'm gonna say no. Because that's difficult terrain.
You can go the long way.
And it's also obscured. As it were by great clouds.
Ah. Then I will use a swift action
You
to
don't know what that's from. You should.
give my allies my shield bonus. It's +4.
I really thought it was about to be 1.
I don't know what to do with this.
Nice. Ayla.
The shield spell cast from my ruler.
Ayla runs towards this creature, disappearing before she does so. Galamandius looks up at the dwarf. He says, "We have to save Dinrook!" As he chants and casts a heal spell on Dinrook, you see the kind of green glow wash over Dinrook, but you hear him scream out in pain as the dragon sinks his teeth deeper into Dinrook's lower half.
There's about to be 2 different.
Oh, that would remove that stone skin, wouldn't
The counter? Yeah.
Great spell.
it?
Yeah. That.
Alaman looks like he's beginning to panic. He looks around. You see that sleepy kind of expression on his face washes away. As he looks around and he goes, he chants in tones. He extends his hand out. You see the dragon begin to shift as if it's fading away from the material plane, and then it fails. He grunts in frustration, as if he tried to banish it.
Oh, I thought we wanted it to stay here.
You did, but right now it's tearing into Dinrook. And he's trying to save his friend.
Gotcha.
The dragon raises up, and it is going to use a neat little ability that it has.
Swallow.
Not swallow, crush.
I thought you was about to say in hell.
As it sinks down, Dinrook screams out in pain as you hear this wet, thick, crunching noise. He reaches out and he grabs hold of the dragon's maw. As you see this expression of agony wash over the dwarf's face, and then it is exchanged with rageful frustration. The dwarf leans up with his axe in hand. As he looks down at the dragon, he rears back and swings, and you see his axe cleave into the dragon's eye. The dragon roars, throwing Dinrook to the side. Dinrook hits the ground and rolls. You see a trail of blood follow behind him, and he is without his right leg. Dinrook hits the ground. You see him try to push himself up as the dragon shakes its head back and forth. It reaches up, dislodging the axe from its eye. The axe hitting the ground, disappearing and reappearing into Dinrook's hand. The dragon looks up and it acknowledges everyone in the room as blood rolls down its face. It chants in tones, and it disappears. And you are effectively out of combat.
That would have changed a lot of things.
Is Denmark
That changes my next move.
So is Denmark now a small creature?
You're mean. He lost 20 pounds overnight.
Trying to cast dimensional anchor.
Oh, to hold it in place. Let's keep it here.
Sounds like a great idea.
Galamandius runs over to Dinrook as he chants in tones. Dinrook looks down at it as you see the stump of a leg begin to heal, just severed just below the knee. He begins to heal. Dinrook reaches over and grabs Galamandius. He says, "Where is he? Where did he go?" He says, "He's gone, calm down." He says, "Alaman, you useless sorcerer, bring him back!" Alaman says, no, we're not. We're not doing that. He says, "I thought that would be a good idea." It wasn't. Galamandius says, "This is still something that we need to deal with." Ayla floats down to the ground. She walks up next to your father as you are once again in third person. She extends a hand out, touching him on the shoulder. She says, "You all right?" He says, "You all right?" The dwarf looks over at your father. He says, "You're useless!" He says, "None of your spells worked! You couldn't even touch him!" Galamandius says, "That is unfair," as he presses the holy symbol into his thigh. Argh! He says, "We all had difficulty hitting him." He says, "I didn't!" And he says, "Yeah, and look what it cost you." As he ceases the bleeding and heals it, but seems not powerful enough to restore his leg to where it once was. Galamandius takes a step back, and it's in this moment that you begin to feel that maybe Galamandius is like the leader of this group. As he steps forward and he says, "This doesn't change the fact that we need to find the other keys." Alaman says, "Correct. However, with that thing looming about in our dreams, we're just as in much danger here as we are asleep." Galamandius says, "Yes." He says, "Your wards have been able to keep him at bay long enough." He says, "We just need to do that until we can find these last two keys." He says, "We don't even know where they are." He says, "The brains of the operation," he gestures towards your father again. He says, "is next to useless ever since we got in this cave." Ayla says, "Yeah, but he did find the other 3 keys for us, and all you've been is a jabbering tank." She says, "A rock that can walk. And now that that's gone, you're nothing but a rock," she says. He grunts as he kind of hobbles up to his leg. Galamandius says, "That is a problem. Our muscle is hurt." He says, "I'm not hurt. You healed me well enough, I can keep going." Galamandius regards him like he's a moron, right? He says we need to take this time to figure out what we're going to do next, where we need to go from here. He says, Hawthorne told us where this place was and how to get to it. He says, but with that thing trailing us every step of the way, we're as good as dead until we can find it. As he says that, he says, there's no sense in sleeping, at least not after everything we've done here. We need to get Dinrook back to the surface. Back to the surface? What are you talking about? He says, you're useless to us, Dinrook. And that, coming from Galamandius, it's like he's frustrated with Dinrook and he just states that plainly. Dinrook says, useless! He starts screaming at him. The group begins to squabble, and the only two that aren't kind of, even Alaman is kind of like, you need to listen to the cleric. As they begin to squabble, Ayla steps next to your father as she looks at him and she says, it's not your fault. She says, that thing was way more powerful than we thought. Dinrook did send it back to where it came, she says, but if Galamandius isn't going to heal his leg, I don't know what we're going to do about it. Your father begins to kind of recess in thought, and this is something that you have seen him do. When you would think his emotions get ahead of him, it seems like he can just block that out. And it seems that's what he's doing in this moment. He says, I think I have an idea. He says, follow me. He takes her by the hand. As they turn and begin to run towards the open cavern, as they walk off, you don't follow them. And the farther from you they get, the weaker your hold on this vision starts to become as you open your eyes and realize you are locked in a cage, in a cove, under an island, surrounded by pirates. But more importantly, your friends. And we're going to take a small break. We'll be back in just a moment.